Every company needs a CEO. Every university needs a manager. Every student needs a president. Being a president, however, is no easy task because when you're sandwiched between school work and administrative tasks, their responsibilities might very well become overwhelming. That is exactly why we reached out to Alaba and Goli to give us an insight of this abstruse world. Hi, I'm Ramily Norman and you're watching MDXSalade. Alaba Angoli is a final year LLB student from Zambia. She is the president at the Middlesex University Mauritius. She chose Middlesex for some very particular reason, as she so explains it herself.
I had lived on an island before, and in my mind, island experience wouldn't be too different from one island to another, but I've come to find that that's not the case. And then also, as you know, Middlesex has the campus here, Dubai, Malta, and in London. And I think this one happens to be the most affordable, and you get the same quality of education. So for me, it just seemed like it made sense to pursue the rest of my degree, pursue my degree here, where I could get the British education, be on an island, sun, sand, and sea.
Being at university, however, entails more than just the environment. Many would describe a successful university experience as one that helps you fulfill your potential, and Alaba surely does.
Honestly, in the last, so I've been here technically 3 years, and in the last month, I think I've experienced the most of my time here. Hopefully there will be more to come, but in the 2 years before, I think I was so focused on my academics and very limited experiences, and I think in my final year now it's dawning on me that I don't have much more time, so I'm trying to see more and do more and just be part of a lot more than just class.
Being at an international university entails a ton of challenges, and Alaba considers them as part of the game and just moves on.
Yes, I think the law program anywhere in the world is fairly challenging. It's just the way it's packaged is they want you to either do really well or just not be in the system. And so they give you all these challenges, all this coursework. I'll be honest, I think being in this degree, I've read the most that I've read in my whole life, and it's not like I've done a degree before and I still didn't read half as much as I've had to in my time in my LLB. So it definitely has been strenuous the entire time. But there's, little breaks where you forget you're a student. Like, our holiday is about 5 months, and it's not like you go on holiday and then you come back and you have the same class, you move on to new classes. So I think what happens is during that break you forget almost that you're a student, and then it's like, whoa, I still have that reality to go back to. So I guess that's the only time you have a sense of relief.
The reason for running for presidency might be just for honor or being the most popular student on the campus. But the reasons Alaba ran for being the president at the Middlesex Mauritius campus is far more reasoned than those.
I really wanted to be, I think everyone knows about their potential as an individual, and I risk sounding cocky, but I think everyone knows of their abilities, and I didn't feel that I was living to the best of my abilities or what I knew I could bring to an environment. And so having been at Middlesex, moving from Bonterre to here, I've watched the university transition, I've watched all the different changes, but there were still things that I was dissatisfied with personally in terms of my experience as a student here. Beyond academics, that is. And so instead of complaining this year, I decided to just run for student council president. to see if I would be able to, along with my team, shift the direction of the student experience. And now that I'm in the position, I will say that it's a lot more challenging and there's a lot more to look at, and there's a lot more underground work that's done than what meets the eye. So I think now I'm starting to put my complaints into perspective, and I'm a bit more understanding of things that maybe I didn't feel were happening for me at the time, because now it's my responsibility to make them happen, so I see it a lot differently.
Running for presidency, however, is not an easy task, as we often underestimate it. The president has to run for a ton of meetings, and this has to be in line with their coursework and university tasks. But Alaba says all of it is worth it.
I underestimated the involvement, When you think of a managerial position, let's say even at the school, you know that to be a manager you have to oversee a lot of the things that happen, but it almost seems like everyone else will be doing the running around and you'll just be supervising it, right? But in reality, you have to actively be involved for it to work effectively. It's been very learning, and like a lot of growing has happened as well, because you have to communicate with people, different types of people, because as you know here we don't choose our individual council members, they're chosen individually. So I've had to learn how to work with new people that maybe I wasn't connected with before. I've had to go to a lot of meetings where you have to learn how to speak to different admin, you have to learn how to do different paperwork, you have to know how to apply for the different events that you want to run, you need to know about the budgeting that goes into it. So it's a lot busier than it seems. When you think of a student council, it seems like, oh, you just go and you talk and you decide, oh, I want to throw a party, and it happens. There's a lot more that goes into that, and that's what I've had to learn and understand. What's interesting is when I was campaigning, a lot of my campaign was around the fact that firstly, I've never been president of anything, and so I don't have any experience or any prior experience. And so my position would be a lot of you helping me help you, because I would be speaking directly to the people who can make these things happen. But what I found is that a lot of people don't want to engage. It's easy to talk about it and to complain, but for example, when we sent out surveys that were involving the cafeteria, which students had a lot of complaints about, which were involving the gym membership, which was involving general student experience, we didn't get the kind of numbers that we thought we would get in terms of response. And this was despite going out, talking to students, telling them why it's important. So I'm coming to realize that students like to complain. Sometimes I think that's a human thing. It's very easy to just complain about things, but to actually go out and fix it and take a 5-minute survey is a different challenge. So I think that's, for me, is the biggest challenge, because it affects every single thing we can do after. You can say, oh, you don't have events, and then we host an event and you don't come because it's easier to complain that there are no events. So learning that and having to find, now we're trying to do little things like putting a gift voucher at the end of it if you do the survey. Just trying to get people to understand that their voice matters in actually making a difference. I think people take that lightly or don't want to take the time to do it.
Even if students have different perspective and are not really standing for their own claims, she also believes that every student can merge together with the locals so that they can work hand in hand to help each other and to come to terms with the actual island situations, and to reinforce the real concept that is woven into the actual Mauritian concept: diversity and multiculturalism.
The main thing to remember is that Middlesex is an international university, and because of that, our experience here is supposed to be of an international nature. Regardless of where you're from, who you are, it shouldn't, when we're here, the ground should be as leveled as possible, just enough for us to be able to share and embrace each other's differences and experiences, but I don't think that it should affect how we then deal with each other, because of course, the university doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's in Mauritius. But I think for me, what I try to do is tap into the fact that the Mauritian students have knowledge of this country that I don't have. So they can show me things that I need to know in order to improve the experience. And then the international students who have experiences from elsewhere can bring in new experiences from their countries that can enhance the local students' experience. So it's a matter of working together, and I think that if we all thought about it in that manner, then we would have a much better experience. But obviously there are realities behind that which make it a bit more challenging.
Every experience varies from individual to individual. The experience of Middlesex Mauritius to Alaba is something truly unique, as she so explains it herself.
To me, Middlesex is an opportunity to engage with a diverse range of people and an opportunity to grow and study myself and also just improve myself academically. So it's, what do they call it, a springboard into all kinds of possibilities. I think it is definitely a place that is what you make it.
Stemming from the idea of personal experiences, Alaba left a strong message for new Middlesex students who want to cope with this changing lifestyle.
So you will probably come in here thinking it's going to be beach time all the time, party time all the time, and then you come and you find that shops close at 4 and places close early. But don't let that make your experience negative. There's still so much to experience and so much to learn from and so much to grow from. Find out about places you can visit and don't be discouraged by the prices. There are always ways around things. There's always discounts that you can tap into. There's so many societies on campus that you can learn from, and so many people to just do the things you like with. So when you come, you might feel, depending on where you're from, you might feel like life is too slow here, but there's a time for everything. You know why you've come here. You've come here to have fun, I'm sure, but you've also come here to gain an education. So as long as you keep that as your main focus, I think that everything else will just be about adding value to that experience. And just don't be scared to experience things. I mean, on the safe side, but don't be scared to just enjoy what it means to be a student in a different country, and that means embracing the good and the bad. Try the food, try the snacks. I mean, I've really enjoyed, and the vegetarian options here are incredible.